Today I'm out here riding the Shady Side in Greensboro. There's some fast sections, so let's see how hard I can send it. Let's go. So right here, I like to come in as fast as possible off this greenway. This is like a bypass that takes you to Owl's Roost, so just sending it down here, boom, bunny hop right into it. Just send it through here. You gotta be kind of careful in here though. If you try to send it too fast, you might hit a tree. Then once you get through here, it kind of slows down. It gets real windy, slow, like real cross-country style, so it's not a lot of speed here. It's all pine straw. Eventually you'll make your way through this section and then you'll see this sign right here, and you want to make sure that you go to the direction that says Shady Side. And here you're gonna start climbing again, but eventually you'll get to the top here and then you'll shoot to this section. So it's a pretty cool section right here. It's a lot easier to go faster than how it leaves, but you kind of send it through here. It's pretty cool. And from here you gotta do some climbing, but then eventually you'll get to this section here where you get some speed, and the next thing you know, you're gonna be on the jump line. This is probably the fastest part of the trail, at least one of the fastest parts, but you see this deer over here, so I kind of tap the brake there. But usually I fly over that, and got a little pump here, jump there, pump, berm, and then it's pretty flat here, so if you just crank it, you get some pretty good rolling speed right here, and just roll all the way through this section here. So I am pedaling here, I'm not just rolling, but it is a pretty fast section. It's flat, so if you really have some torque, you can get through here pretty quick. And from here, you're gonna climb again. It's a pretty long climb, not too steep, but you will need your cross-country legs for this. So if you're coming straight from downhill mode, this might fatigue you. And then once again, you're gonna see a sign that's gonna say Shady Side or Owl's Roost. So stay on Shady Side and you'll see the rest of the trail. It gets really flat in this section, a whole lot of pedaling, some tight corners you gotta turn in between trees, definitely cross country, but it's good to get this exercise in, right? It's good to get these reps in because, of course, if you ride cross country, you have to earn all your descents. So there's some pretty cool stuff in here that'll help you get better at handling the bike. Then here it speeds up again eventually. So I'd say this is probably the second fastest part. I don't know, it's maybe the first, but it's a pretty fast part here. It's straight shot, it's shooting down. It's not very steep, but it's steep enough to roll and not hit the pedal. So this is a cool part to cruise through here. Now I rode this section on both a hardtail and a full suspension, and it's just as fun on both. I mean, of course there's a lot more plushness that you're going to get in the full suspension here, but like riding this on a hardtail really got me better at choosing lines and controlling the bike. So don't shy away from this if you feel like it's pretty rough or rooty. It's not. It's pretty smooth. It's very hardtail friendly. And then things tend to slow down again here. You're back in cross-country mode. Some pretty cool areas here you can pump through. Again, you're gonna have to have your cardio on point, but it's pretty cool here, right? And not all of it is just flowy, super fast, but once again, like I said, you have to earn your descents, and it's like, that you can hop over. I mean, there's just a lot of random different things out here on the trail that makes it interesting. Now this spot here is pretty cool. This is pretty much where Shady Side ends, and then it meets up with Owl's Roost. See the sign here, it says Owl's Roost. So at this point, you're back on Owl's Roost. That one section is Shady Side, and this is a one-way trail, so you're not supposed to hit this trail from the opposite direction. Although there are some interesting parts that I would like to see from the opposite direction. There's a sign there that says it's one way, so I would suggest abiding by the rules. And then from here, you have a little bit more climbing to do before you're completely out of here. Owl's Roost is a lot more chunky and technical than Shady Side. I say Shady Side like more of a flow trail. Owl's Roost is more technical and true cross country for sure. I mean, you're gonna have to know how to like pop your wheel over roots and be really good at handling your bike, unless you're okay with just hopping off the bike and walking over things. It can get a little challenging, so I wouldn't suggest that for beginners, but if you're up for a challenge in a workout, definitely. But that brings the end to it. Puts you out right here at the greenway. So let's look at some of the fastest sections, right? So the first fastest section is this one here, dropping into Owl's Roost. At this point, it's called Owl's Roost. So it's not really Shady Side until you get to that sign that I showed you. But dropping into Owl's Roost right here is probably one of the most fun drop-ins in the whole town. You're not going to get speed dropping in like that anywhere else that I've been in Greensboro. So that's definitely one of the fastest parts. And then next, of course, the jump lines are super fast. I mean, this is pretty fun. You do have to pedal into it to get the speed, so whatever speed you pedal in with is the speed that you'll have. And that deer is tripping me out every time I see it in this video. But I would have gone a lot faster if I didn't see the deer, but I didn't want to do this over again. I just wanted to get through the trail. But this is definitely the fastest section, probably in Greensboro, honestly. I haven't experienced any other trail that gives you this much flow for this long and give you a jump, except for maybe there's a part with Swan Song and Kingfisher, and I'll show you that in another video. But I still think this is probably the fastest section, and I like the session that spot. So the guys will usually link up. We'll just come out here just to hit that jump line, and then once we get past that final burn, we'll just go back up the hill and just keep sessioning those 2 jumps over and over again, just to get more comfortable at handling the bike and familiar with jumps. They're not huge jumps, but they are good jumps to practice on. And lastly, this flow section here is the last fast section on Shady Side. Again, one of the faster sections of any trail here in Greensboro. You can really open up here. You don't have to have your, you don't have to be cranking at all really through here. I would say cover the brake because it's very narrow, trees are close, and when there's leaves, you can't really see what's exposed under there. There's quick elevation changes, but it is fun and flowy, and it'll get you really good at handling your bike. Whether you're on a hardtail or full suspension, this is going to be fun for you. So this is, like I said, this is the 3rd fast section of this trail. Definitely check out Shady Side if you're in the area. It's well worth the trip, well worth the experience. All right, y'all, that's it for the Shady Side. If you want more trail POV videos like this and NC and all over, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Peace.